Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to show us how to make garden eggs stew. Garden eggs are like Africa's eggplant. It's a little sweet, it's a little bitter, but it's very healthy, especially for those with diabetes. So if you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name is Dorothy. My friends call me Doro. I was able to lose 50 pounds just changing the way I cook my food and the things I eat, and I've been able to maintain my weight loss. That's what I look like in March 2021. So if you're looking to lose weight, to maintain your weight loss, and to reverse aging, just to get overall healthier, then you're in the right place. You want to hit that subscribe button so you get notified each time I put up content. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be using for this. These are my garden eggs. I'm just gonna cut this part like that, take out and then I'm gonna chop them up. So these can also be eaten raw as a snack. It's really tasty. Just has a little bitter to it, but it's good. I suffer from high blood pressure. When I started researching foods, I realized that most of the things I found that mentioned high blood pressure mentioned diabetes, or that mentioned diabetes, like this is good for diabetics, for example. I realized those things are also good for people who are struggling to manage their blood pressure. So when I see anything, I don't have diabetes, but I always make sure anything that I see is good for diabetes, I know it's also good for me. And high blood pressure and diabetes are like cousins. When one comes, the other one is just waiting at the door. Just open that door, little crack, it's in. So we need to take care of ourselves better. I'm gonna put them to boil, but I'm just gonna use a little bit of water, so it's like steaming it, because I don't want to cook it and then drain the water. I don't want to drain anything, so I'm just gonna put a little bit so it steams for a few minutes and it's soft, and then I'm gonna process it. Okay, that's my water. It's like half a cup of water. While that's steaming, I'm gonna prep my tomatoes and spices. It's been steaming for 3 minutes, so I just move it around so the ones on top can go to the bottom. It's just steaming for 5 minutes and it should be fine. It's soft. You see, there's no water in my pot, so I don't have to drain any water. So I'm just gonna let it cool down a little bit before I process it. I'm gonna use a food processor, so I don't need to peel it. Some people cut it big, like larger chunks when it's soft, and then they peel the skin. I don't need to. I need the fiber, so I'm gonna eat the skin. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my garden eggs to cool down, I have a pot ready. I'm gonna start with my sauce. Since it's like a dry stew, I'm gonna use a little bit of oil. I'm using Planters peanut oil today, about a tablespoon. I'm gonna fry my tomatoes first. While my onions are sauteing, I want to show you what I'm going to use for beef. I always use soy curls. Let me tell you a little bit about soy curls. These are just soybeans that have been cooked and cut into shapes and dried out, and it's like a meat substitute. So the process retains all its nutrients and all its fiber. So it's a really good meat substitute for those of us who are not eating any animal protein. This is very high in protein, so it's very healthy. I'm going to use that today as my meat. I'm going to add my ginger and garlic Add my tomatoes, red pepper flakes. I love spicy food. Onion and garlic powder, oregano. I don't know if you watched the video where I told you guys about fenugreek. Fenugreek is used a lot in Indian cuisine and it's very good for people who are dealing with high blood pressure and diabetes. It's a little bitter, so you want to put a little bit in your food. So I just buy the grains, grind them into a powder, and when I'm cooking I add it to my food. That's half a teaspoon. For salt, I'm using Braggs liquid aminos. You can use soy sauce. It's like a salt substitute. I use this because it doesn't have any incidence on my blood pressure. 1 tablespoon of miso. Miso is like seasoning cube. It's just fermented soy. It's also very good. So if you have fresh herbs, you can also use. I don't have fresh herbs today, like basil or basil, however you pronounce it, basilic. So these are dried basil leaves. Okay. I'm gonna go in with my soy curls. So these need to be rehydrated. That's why I'm putting water in the food so they can cook in there, get the flavors from the seasonings, and be tasty when the food is done. I'm gonna add a little more water so they can cook. Taste for salt. While my tomatoes are cooking, I'm gonna go to the food processor. See, there's no water, no excess water in there. It's just the juice from the garden eggs. I'm just gonna pause it a few times. Yeah, like that. Okay, I'm gonna check. See, it's not ground, it's just broken down a little bit more. There's still some body to it. It's just, that's the right texture I like. Okay, let's check on the tomatoes. The water has dried out, as you can see. It's time to add my garden eggs. So I'm just gonna incorporate that into the sauce. After mixing, you want to taste for salt again. If it needs a little bit more, you add. I'm gonna cover this and cook it for another 5 minutes for all the flavors to come together. You can eat this with rice. You can eat it with plantain, with cocoyams, with cassava. Any tuber you have, it goes really well. Watch your oil intake. Watch how you cook your food. Yeah, don't go for all that glamour. See all the tomatoes swimming in a lot of oil. It looks pretty, but it's not gonna look pretty in your body. So that's why I cut down on my oil. So I'm just gonna let it cook. Today I'm gonna eat this with cassava or yuca. That's like my favorite. Look at this beautiful sauce. You don't see any excess oil. It just looks pretty still. There's no water and there's no excess oil sitting in there. Our food is done. It's been 5 minutes. It's done. My cassava is done. There's it in a smaller pot. I'm gonna plate it. And then to this gorgeous sauce. Look at that. One of the things I learned as I started losing weight is that eating food in its natural state is okay because you get all the fiber. I'm not starving myself to lose weight. Yeah, I just eat enough food and in their natural state. So instead of fufu, I'd rather eat the cassava. Here is my beautiful sauce. Look at it. Taste it. Hot. It is So delicious. You want to try this? It's been 3 years and I'm going strong. So come along with me, hit that subscribe button to get notified each time I share content, and try out the recipes, incorporate them into your lifestyle and see the changes. Let's do it together.